Mhm.
So Daniel Jones, make the case of why Daniel Jones would be a round peg and a round hole for Arthur Smith and the Atlanta Falcons offense.
Very smart football player. Had a high rate of turnovers before this season, which is a concern. But as far as throwing the football, been pretty good with that this season. And a extremely underrated athlete. Under center run game, playing off of the run game, and getting it done with his best weapons being Isaiah Hodgins and Darius Slayton on the outside. I mean, Daniel Jones has had a phenomenal season with Brian Dable and Mike Kafka out there, and I think the athleticism of Daniel Jones and the size and the athleticism has always been extremely underrated. He's a very good athlete in open space, and we saw this season how much the Falcons want to use that quarterback to stress the edges, give them multiple options in that run game. I think he would be a excellent fit in this offense. I think he's a much more physically much bigger, more physically gifted version of Ryan Tannehill. And we saw how great Ryan Tannehill was in this Arthur Smith offense. He's bigger. I think he's faster. I know Ryan Tannehill played wide receiver, but he never looked as fast in the open field or able to handle as much of a run game aspect in his play as we saw with Daniel Jones this season. And yesterday was a great example. Obviously, the explosives for that Giants offense have not been there this season, but I don't think their wide receiver talent, their pass catching talent is good at all, to be completely honest. So I would kick the tires. I think he'd be an excellent scheme fit in this team. Obviously, I'm not looking to pay him top money, but give him a 3-year contract with high guarantees that lower the overall cap hit in comparison to his contemporaries. And I think that's something I would personally consider if I was the Falcons, especially if you had any questions on Ritter, especially if you didn't like any of the quarterbacks in this draft class. I mean, and I also think this Atlanta team is infrastructure-wise, a great sell. If I was a quarterback like Daniel Jones, I would be very interested in coming to Atlanta to play with Arthur Smith and throw to the young guys that they have in the offensive line that they have.
You've got 2 top 10 PFF offensive linemen, assuming you re-sign Caleb McGarry.
Yeah,
You've got those guys, and you've got Kyle Pitts, and hey, why don't we throw Quentin Johnson in there? I think it's a pretty easy sell too. Now, when you talk about top dollar, what is that to you? What is that coming to you? Because that's where it comes in. I would advocate Terry Fontenot getting on the phone and calling the agent and expressing interest. Hey, if things, let us know. I don't want to put them up in the the 40+ million range. That's not for me. So what are you thinking?
I think something. I mean, gosh, it's crazy jump off an average per year of the contracts right now. You got Baker Mayfield making $15 million a year, Jameis Winston $14 million. Then it jumps up to Tom Brady at 25, then Ryan Tannehill 29, Matt Ryan at 30. I'd be looking to pay him about $20 million a year. I think that's honestly a fair deal. He might be wanting more than that, but 20 per year more guaranteed. Maybe you can get it to 25 per year, but you'd have the guarantees be less on the back end, so that way you can move on from him if something happens. But I think he'd be interesting. Also, I think that because of his play style, he's not one that you want to commit to a long time, especially if you're going to run him as much as we saw in this Giants playoff game. But a 3-year deal, averaging 25 million per year, which would put him at the, oh gosh, guys do math. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15th, about the 16th highest paid quarterback in terms of average per year. I'd be interested. I think that's a fair deal.
Yeah. Okay. So I agree with you. That's when we talk about kick the tires. Marcus Mariota was on about 14. To go +6 to Daniel Jones, I think you're in the right neighborhood. That said, I don't think that's going to get it done anymore.
I think 25, 30.
I think he's played his way out of that. I think the Giants are going to want to re-sign him. And you have Ian Rappaport out there this morning talking about a possible franchise tag if they want to try and bring back Barkley and Daniel Jones, and they might use the tag on one or the other. Now, a tag on that's a $40 million difference on a franchise tag between quarterback and running back. So, I think the Giants will pay, I don't want to say above market, but anything competitive, he'll probably want to stay there. And I think he's going to be in the 25+ range over the course of this next contract, which for me would price him out of what I feel comfortable putting into a new quarterback with this team. So, again, one of the mentions I have is quarterback pay is set. No, it's not. What are you talking about? And if I were to give Daniel Jones an offer, I'll give you 3 and 60 and make them come up for 4 and 100 at 25 a year. Okay, well, that's less money in the free agent market that I have to compete with from the New York Giants. There's nothing wrong with that. So would I kick the tires if I'm Terry Fontenot? Yeah, I'd put an agent and express interest. What are
Mhm.
you guys thinking? Do I think it will happen? No, I don't. I don't think it'll happen. I think you're still highly likely to have Desmond Ritter be your quarterback because I think the cost of acquiring a veteran would be the cost risk value there wouldn't be enough to say, I'd rather have Desmond right now for where this team is.